Hey everyone, it's Andy Kushner, host of The Wedding Biz. Thank you so much for listening. And so much is going on lately with the show. The excitement is palpable. And I'm getting ready to head out to the stunning Fairmont in Banff for the Engage Luxury Wedding Summit, where I will be reconnecting with so many friends and will be interviewing several icons in the business. And if you're going, please reach out and say hello. And if you're not, my marketing director, Melissa, is going to be there, and she's going to be doing the whole social media thing so that you can experience much of it with us. So be sure to follow us on Instagram and elsewhere at Wedding Biz Show. Also, please subscribe to The Wedding Biz, either where you get this podcast or on our site, which is theweddingbiz.com. Again, theweddingbiz.com. And if you haven't seen it yet, you've got to check it out. It is amazing. Melissa did a great job with it. Christy handling the tech side and some advice. I mean, it is really a stunning website. So today's guest is Tara Dowburd, owner of Makeup Therapy. And when I start the conversation, you're going to hear a summary of the amazing things she's doing. And it is so impressive. She is so impressive. And there's so much to get out of this episode, including not only a great story of courage and tenacity while building her career, but also a host of tips that you should be aware of and can use to better understand how to help your clients with finding and how to best work with their makeup artists, as well as hairstyling. And listen through to the very end because Tara talks about her favorite products. I know you're all going to want to hear about that. And check out our follow-on episode, The Next Level, in which my co-host, Melissa Fancy, and I tease out some of the highlights of Tara's interview, helping to deliver specific tactics to apply to your own business. So without further ado, enjoy my conversation with Tara Dowburd. So Tara, we're here in Los Angeles, where you founded Makeup Therapy, in which you and what you term the beauty team specialize in makeup application and hairstyling for celebrity and high-end weddings, the red carpet, TV appearances, special events, and photo shoots. Your work has appeared in dozens of magazines and blogs, and Makeup Therapy's beauty team does exclusive work for many luxury hotels. And celebrity clients, some of them include Kristen Bell, Magic Johnson, Fergie, Trent Reznor, Jason Alexander, Norman Lear, Carol Burnett, Kimberly Hefner, Amanda Bynes, David Cook, and many more. And you are a favorite of many high-end wedding and event planners, many of which have been or will appear on the Wedding Biz podcast, including Debbie Geller, Nikki Kahn, Mindy Weiss, and Kristen Banta, many, many, many others. And of course, you also work with an impressive list of major photographers. I mean, it's such an amazing career. And I know, aren't you coming up on your 10th year anniversary?
Right now, 10 years.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
My
Thank
God.
you.
Well, I would like to know, Tara, how did you come up with the name Makeup Therapy?
That's actually a really good question. It's very hard to name a business and have your vision come through, right? I almost feel like I call it a silent talker, where somebody can look at your company's name and have an idea of what it's about. When I started out as a makeup artist 20 years ago,
you seem way too young to 20 years ago.
Thank you. Yeah, I started young. But when I started out, this consistent theme was happening where clients, when they were in the chair, would always say that it's a very therapeutic experience being in the chair with me. And that meant a lot because they just seemed very calm and very trusting. And that's a big deal when somebody's in your chair because it's intimate when somebody's in your chair.
And so vulnerable too,
so vulnerable. So vulnerable. And so it was very important to me to have them feel comfortable and not feel self-conscious and be vulnerable. And so when like I said, the constant thing the clients would say, it's very therapeutic being in your chair. It's a transformation on the outside, right? Because makeup, it enhances the beauty. And so, yes, that's one piece of it. But especially women, when they, like how they look, I mean, men and women, but for women, when they're having the makeup done, when they like how they look, there's this confidence that just exudes so strongly. And so, and that's an emotional. So it's like between having the physical, the emotional, it's like, it's transforming and it's exciting. And so, like I said, from the beginning, they would always say it's so therapeutic being in my chair. That was one piece of it. The other piece is that when I'm doing makeup, it's so therapeutic. I'm in my zone. I'm in my happy place. And it
even for yourself.
Oh, so much. So much so. I mean, it's the best thing ever.
Why do you think that is, though?
I'm creative. I express myself greatly through creativity. I'm driven by creativity. Ever since I was young, it's always been my go-to, just when anything was going on in life. And I, just working through things in life, good and bad, just when I would do something creative, that was therapeutic for me.
What is your first memory of, in particular, becoming aware of like the power of makeup?
Honestly, when I was 6.5, 7 years old, my mom always had a professional makeup artist come to our house. She went to a lot of events. She did a lot of big galas and fundraisers. And so I'm from outside Philadelphia, and there was this makeup artist. She kind of worked the tri-state area, Philadelphia, New York, New Jersey. And she would come to the house and she would do the makeup for my mom. And I had no interest in wearing it. I had none.
Yeah.
It was just, I loved watching the application and the transformation.
And do you remember how old you were?
Yeah, I was truly 7 years old.
That, it's so interesting, Tara, because so many people I've spoken to, and I also have another show in which I interview major people in the music business. And it's the same thing where even as young as, 4 or 5, they're enamored, and there's this one drummer, he's one of the best drummers in the world. And at 3, he would just sit there, stare at the drums. And it's like, you're talking about a similar thing. It's so interesting, where that comes from. It's just innate in a way.
Ever since I was, I could say even younger, I could say even 5 years old, fashion and beauty for me has always made my heart race. I would get so excited. And then being a kid, my dad, back in the day when malls started opening, my dad would drop me off at the mall and he would give me a wad of cash. I didn't even need to purchase things. I was so enamored. I wanted to see all the clothes. I wanted to see just beautiful things. I've always had strong appreciation. But I always knew I would be doing something in the fashion beauty industry. I was Vogue magazine. My dad would let me get it. I wasn't reading articles,
right?
But I would literally do
pictures.
Yeah, I would tear things out, and I would be like, I love these handbags, or I love this eye makeup.
Wow.
and I would have folders, and I didn't know what I was doing. I just knew that I loved it, and and I'm not a collector, but magazines. Oh my gosh, I would have magazines dating back.
Do you still have them?
I have some in storage.
Wouldn't that be funny? From, that many years ago?
I actually do have some in storage, but moving from Philadelphia, I went to University of Arizona. So now in LA. And so it's just, they're heavy to ship.
Right. So at this young age, when you, in high school, was this, I imagine this was you're applying it yourself. Are you doing it with friends?
Honestly, I was not a big makeup wearer.
Oh, that's
interesting.
Not.
I never, people say we make plans and God laughs, and I feel like that's the truest statement of life.
Yeah.
For me, never dreamed of living in LA, never thought I would be a makeup artist. I did always know I would have my own business.
Yeah.
That's something I knew. But in college, I double majored in marketing and fashion merchandising, minored in French. But I always dreamt I'd be working maybe for a magazine, living in New York, traveling the world, sitting at runway shows, but always being involved with, like I said, beauty and fashion.
Yeah, more on the business side of it, or
no, both.
Yeah,
definitely having my hands in both the creative and the business. Because first and foremost, I'm an artist.
Yeah. Well, then what happened after high school? So what did you do?
So I went to college.
Where?
I started University of Rhode Island my first year, but my sister was at University of Arizona. I went to visit her.
And we're talking Tucson, right?
Tucson, yeah.
Because I lived there for 2 years when I was really young. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
That is a funky, cool, but cool. That had left such an impression on me. So I'm picturing that with you going there too.
Well, the university is its own entity. You know what I mean? But it was a fascinating place to go to school. I transferred there my second year, for my sophomore year of college. Greatest thing I could have ever done. Loved it. Yeah. And my sister's my best friend. And so it was nice getting to live, in the same place again together. And so even though she graduated soon after, I stayed and, like I said, double major in marketing and fashion merchandising. The makeup piece, I owned makeup. Still didn't wear a whole lot of it, but I loved, if friends needed, I was in a sorority. I loved doing it.
Okay.
But I never knew this would be my career.
Even then?
Even then.
So then when did that moment happen? Oh, so you're getting ready to graduate college. What did you think you were going to do next?
I thought I was going to do the buying program for Neiman Marcus.
Oh.
And this amazing recruiter, after I met with her, I called her and I said, if you could give me a percentage of how creative this job is going to be, you know, and she said, oh, sweetie, she's like, I know where you're going with this. She said, it's more analytical. You're going to be at a desk. You're going to be crunching numbers. And you're not out going to the runway shows and, selecting merchandise. And I was like, oh gosh, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
That's not the piece. That's not what I'm about. I'll go crazy. I am a creative. And so I moved to LA. It's a long story, but I moved to LA.
Just with no job yet?
With no job yet.
Okay, that's gutsy.
I had moved with my boyfriend and had no job, no place to live.
Okay.
But I don't know. I'm good at putting myself in situations to challenge myself and prove to myself, you can do it, and I've been doing that kind of my whole life.
You know what I talk about a lot too? I felt this way since I was really young. Even now, I still do it. Is I feel like it's jumping off a cliff and assuming the net will appear.
Absolutely.
But it's that challenge, the excitement and also being open, right? If you're going to do that, you got to be wide open.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm an East Coast girl.
Yeah.
And so even moving to California for me was just a shock.
Yeah.
I mean, a shock to family, friends, to myself.
Right.
But it was one of those things where I like to try new things. And because I wasn't going to be doing the buying program, I felt, why not try a new place? Give it a year, because I'm at least a year. And after a couple months, I ended up getting this job with Bobbi Brown, which was unbelievable because honestly, I never sought out to do a job in makeup.
What was your responsibilities in the beginning?
When I started, I didn't end up, Bobbi was still running the company. It was more mom pop. Estee Lauder had just bought them, but there was no influence really corporately yet.
Wow, what a great time to be there.
It was magnificent because we were treated so well, and it was a very coveted job to be able to get an artistry job with Bobbi. And I had 5 interviews, 2 makeup applications. I didn't even go to school. So funny story, long story short, I ended up taking a job at a super high-end clothing boutique as a manager because I was going through all these interviews with Bobbi and I was like, I'm not going to get it. So I took a job, and on my first day, I checked my voicemail on the payphone.
Right. I remember those days.
Yeah. And I had a job offer. So on the first day, I went back to the store owner.
Oh my God.
And I'm very good. I mean, I had worked in fashion for a long time, so I was actually very good. The first day I had a lot of sales, and I got this great job offer, and I thought, if I got this job offer from Bobbi Brown, I should take it. And I was with them. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I feel like I need to try it. I figured I'd be there for a year with Bobbi. I ended up being with them a little over 7.5 years.
Wow.
And I just had such a great clientele. I did great fashion shows and award shows. And on the side, I started doing weddings probably 6 months in. And the best is, I had this one client who, she was an executive director in film, and I didn't know, and I don't know the LA thing and the Hollywood thing. And so she had approached me and she said, I'm going to be doing this shoot for Leonardo DiCaprio. It was after, how many years after Titanic.
Okay.
But it was kind of this thing where she was going to interview all these influential people in Leonardo's life.
Okay.
And so she said, I think your energy and your personality and your talent would be great on this. And it's going to go straight to Blockbuster.
Whoa.
Blockbuster?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm dating myself. But...
No, and I remember. Right. Okay.
So meanwhile, of course, I'm like, sure, okay, but meanwhile, I didn't have a kit. I had nothing. So I remember I went home, I told my boyfriend, I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. And he's like, well, she obviously feels like you're good enough.
Right.
So I went and dropped $5,000 on a credit card. Not kidding you. Got a kit together, because for me, your tools, your products, I don't half it. I get the best.
Yeah.
Right?
So you went all out.
I went all out. And I had to show up at the CNN building where they were shooting.
Yeah.
I knew nothing.
Wow.
And I literally, I was like, okay, Tara, act like you've been there. Just do this.
So wait, so you're really nervous, anxious, obviously.
Oh, beyond.
Yeah.
I remember getting on the elevator with all these men in suits. I have my kit and I am shaking.
Just shaking, yeah.
Shaking so much. And
Right.
my heart racing. I'm like, can they hear my heart racing? Because I was so scared.
Yeah.
And I went up there and everybody was kind and nice and helpful. I didn't really know much about lighting. I mean, I just went in there. They set me up in a room and I did it and everyone was happy. And I thought, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did it. And so that really started me feeling confident in, I mean, just throw yourself in, go big or go home.
And that's when you knew, okay, I can do this.
Yeah, absolutely. Because these are people who did this for like a living. I was like, they're going to find me out. They're going to say she doesn't know what she's doing.
Right.
And no, it went great. And it was so fun to be a part of it. And it's funny because from that, one would have thought maybe I would have pursued something more in film or TV. And I've done through my career, not for film, but for TV. But I realized about myself that day, I'm a worker. And I don't like standing around for hours on end and then waiting for the touch-up kind of thing. I like to work. I like to be in it. And not just stand around.
Oh, I get it. Right. And
so that's what I'm saying.
Film,
TV and film,
you're sitting a lot.
You're sitting a lot
That's right.
and waiting. And I know it pays really well, but that's for me, again, it's like, it's the artistry. It's feeling like I'm making a difference.
Yeah.
And connecting with everybody, that I'm working with.
Well, then, okay, so this incredible, I love that story, by the way. So what happens after then? I mean, now you realize you've got the confidence, you can do it. You got a sense of the kind of environment you want to be in. So what do you do next?
So my work with Bobby Brown was great because I was a head artist with her, so I had a team to work with. But on the side is what I realized. So someone had approached me very, very soon afterwards about doing their wedding.
Okay.
And I was so excited about it. I thought, okay, let's just do it. And one of my very first weddings was with a planner named Toby Lee Dodge. And Toby, I mean, she's an icon in our industry.
Yeah.
And it was my first wedding was at the Beverly Hilton.
Okay.
And there were 12 women for makeup.
Whoa.
And I didn't even know what I was getting.
You didn't know when you were going there it was going to be like that?
I think I just was like, okay, I'll just figure it out. But oh my gosh, we had bar stools lined up. We had the presidential suite. There were bar stools lined up on the balcony. I remember I was outside literally makeup, so fast doing the makeup. It was an intense experience.
I was going to say, sounds pretty intimidating.
Oh my gosh. I learned from that day to never book myself to do 12 people ever.
Yeah.
But it was exhilarating because at the end of the day, knowing that you were part of that milestone, incredible celebration, one of the biggest days in someone's life, and then they have these pictures for years to come, and being a part of it, I was like, that felt the most rewarding that I had done in my career.
Wow. There's a quote that I read when I was looking up some stuff on you that you said, which I'd like to ask more about related to what you're saying. You said, the best advice I can give is to embrace your unique style and stay true to it so that you look and feel your most beautiful on your wedding day. This way you will feel confident and fabulous all celebration long and will love how you look years later as you reminisce while looking at your photos and watching your wedding video. There's a lot of responsibility in that too, isn't there?
There is. I have a lot of friends that are makeup artists, and many of them think I'm crazy that I do weddings. There's isn't there so much anxiety and pressure? And I guess it's all perspective, because for me, I don't feel that at all. I don't feel it at all. My clients say I'm such a calming presence. So, and my team as well. It's a big responsibility, but it's an amazing responsibility. I don't even look at it as a responsibility. So again, perspective.
That. Yes.
I go in there. I still get butterflies in my stomach when I go and do weddings.
I mean, from the excitement.
Yeah.
Because that's one thing too. I noticed a good friend of mine said to me one time, the feeling of anxiety and excitement is actually kind of similar. And again, it's perspective.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll stop myself and say, okay, hold on, wait a minute. Is it really anxiety? And then a lot of times it's like, no, this is excitement. And it changes the whole zone for me. So that's what it is for you, those butterflies.
Very much. It's funny, for a really long time in my career, and then sometimes because weddings for my company is the largest part of what we do, and it's probably the most of what I do, but being that I've been a makeup artist for so long, I have a lot of personal clients, and I personally, I've done a lot of work for the NBA, for ESPN, for, so many different types of projects that people are always surprised. I specialize in beauty as a company. We specialize in beauty, but I love doing things, again, creatively challenging, really cool photo shoots outside the box. A lot of times clients will think that they're supposed to look a certain way, especially on their wedding day. I will say that has changed over the years, or people are embracing more of their own style. But when I started doing weddings, I felt a little more this is your bridal lipstick.
Oh.
You probably, I don't know if you'll wear it again in your life, but it's your bridal lipstick, where it was just, and for people maybe who don't wear a lot of makeup, but they would, wear a lot because it's their wedding day.
Yeah.
And I was always back then saying, embrace your style, embrace your comfort level. Like, and so my goal would try to marry the two, their comfort level and me bringing in my artistry and finding that happy medium. Because for someone who says, oh, I was thinking of wearing a red lipstick for my wedding, but I normally wear chapstick, it's saying, okay, but you wear chapstick. So not only will you feel self-conscious, if you wear red lipstick on your wedding day, you won't feel like yourself. Your groom will look at you and be like, I'm sure he'll recognize that you look beautiful, but you shouldn't do something so different on your wedding.
Oh,
do it for your rehearsal dinner, like rock it, like do something super fun and whatever. Not that what you're doing on your wedding day isn't fun, but stay true to more of who you are on your wedding day. And you will look exceptional, but you will radiate confidence, which is beautiful. And your photographer will be so happy, because that's the other thing. When we're with our brides, we are the last people with our brides before they go and get dressed and take pictures. And so it's our job to have them be in a great headspace.
I was going to say, now I'm understanding more what you said earlier about why it's therapeutic for your clients, in this case for a bride.
Very much. Very, very much so. Because they put on their dress, they look in the mirror, they feel beautiful. And any photographer will tell you, when their clients feel beautiful, it comes through the lens, makes their job a lot easier, less photoshopping, you know what I mean? So it's a win-win.
So since I've had makeup done for interviews and things like that, TV and stuff, however, not nearly as much as probably many women. So I imagine when they're sitting in the chair and you're doing this, it sounds like you're talking a lot, right? Yeah,
I do, and it's funny because my team and I, we talk, but honestly, it's even more about listening. I think that's really important. Again, being in a vulnerable space, it's nicer to just let your client speak.
And in that moment especially, they must be, like you said, you're the last person they're seeing.
Yes. So, and sometimes I know a lot of women over the years, I'm sure, have had bad experiences being in a makeup chair, feeling intimidated, because sometimes makeup artists, it's more about their own ego, their own vision versus the person in the chair. And for makeup therapy, I have a team of 14, and everyone will tell you, like, no, it's about the client. It's not about us. It's not my team. Like, it's about confidence, but not no ego. Talent. We're on top of our game, but it's not about us. It's always about the client in the chair and them feeling comfortable. And so, we'll even say, like, please feel comfortable, ask us anything, because again, when they're in a good space, they're comfortable, they feel pretty, they feel, if they want to, have something changed, they can, it's not about us. We want our clients to feel comfortable. And then again, they get dressed, they go take pictures. And we do a lot of clients for TV appearances, for award shows, red carpet. And so everything we do has to look great in person, has to look great on camera, and has to last.
Yeah.
That's the other piece.
Yeah, I can imagine. So what is a typical process like for you prior to the wedding day in terms of working with the bride to prepare to understand what you should do with her with makeup? And I know you also have hairstylists too. Yeah.
Well, we have our studio manager who helps me. She's like my right-hand person operationally, which is fantastic, which helps me, again, because I can still be the creative. And when I'm on bookings, it's not about my phone and being on email. It's about being present with the client. So she is a huge help with the balance of the operational. So she will ask, questions beforehand. Well, I'll start off. So, our business is all based word of mouth. We don't advertise, right? So, the people that are referring us are wedding planners, photographers, hotels, venues, past brides, clients, pretty much everybody, right? But the aesthetic, like, we're known for effortless chic kind of a style. It could be super natural, super glamorous, but, skin looks like skin, and, the client looks like themselves. So, like-minded people refer us. And so typically the clients that reach out to us, because it's word of mouth, they've probably looked at our Instagram and it's relatable.
Yeah.
So first and foremost, because we want to make sure our style matches their comfort level and their style. And so, we find out all their information, but if they want to share any images with us, we're visual people. So we love if people, when clients want to share photos, and that's inspiration for them. And I always say the person doesn't need to look like you. It's just what you look at and you think is beautiful. And then as professionals, we take that.
I get it. It's giving
look
you.
At them.
Yeah.
And marry the two.
I see.
Where, if someone shows me something that isn't right for them, I'm going to tell them.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Whether it's makeup or hair, because the goal is that it suits them the very best, brings out their features the very best.
Yeah.
That's our job.
Gosh, it really is such a creative act in so many different ways. And I love that part of it. What is the difference? What about working with men, versus women?
Most of our male clients don't like wearing makeup.
Yes, I understand.
And so, the hope is that when we do makeup on our clients for males, they just look more refreshed. Their skin might look a little more smooth. They have a little more coloring. They look a little brighter under the eyes.
Yeah.
Healthy. That's all. And, grooming, if they're getting their hair, because we do corporate jobs, and sometimes we're brought in and we'll do, hair for men and stuff. Again, same kind of thing. I mean, you guys want to feel comfortable and confident and not feel self-conscious, because it will be awkward. Like if you're interviewed on a panel or something and you look super made up, people will be looking the fact that you look made up versus listening to you. Yeah,
that's a good point.
So it's very much about, even like for men and women clients, working with their skin tone and matching it. And but we don't, so it's not as much, like I said, I would never want a male client walking away and feeling self-conscious like they have a lot of makeup on their face. And they look in the mirror and they're like, oh, I get it. Okay.
You're speaking, this is exactly what it is for me. Yeah, when I'm sitting there, now I'm comfortable with it. I've done it enough times, but I remember in the beginning, I was just thinking, this is just, I'm not comfortable. Yeah. And then by the end of it, it's like, I get it. Now I get it.
Yeah.
What about working with photographers? Now it's, right, you're having to partner in a sense with someone else. What does that go like for you? To
be honest, I feel like it's always been a bit of a partnership. Right off the bat, I always like to introduce myself if we haven't met before. But now that I've been doing makeup so long and I've had the company so long, people know me, they know my team. So it's actually amazing. And the clients love it because they feel like they're, they really have the A team brought in. And, there's nothing, it's like, when your people work together, they like that, the energy it brings to the day. Sometimes on weddings, there's not as much collaboration necessarily with photographers. There's communication, but I'm
thinking of photo shoots and all of that.
Yeah, it's actually really fun. We've been a part of 3 amazing photo shoots. We've done this year exquisite events, and
Nikki Khan, she's on the show.
Yeah. And Medea.
Yeah, right.
And Sonia Sharma events from Sonia. But just 2 examples where we've worked with amazing photographers. It's kind of cool because I love being a part of a collaborative effort. And so if they have, I love talking vision and style beforehand. And then if, things need to be tweaked and changed, it's great. And that's what's so wonderful with hair and makeup. It's an easy change.
Yeah.
Nothing's permanent. And changing the different looks. And it's kind of cool when you're doing a shoot and you could do like 3 or 4 different looks. It's the same person, but showing how by just the change of a lip color, just by the change of adding a certain eyelash or liner or up, wearing your hair up versus down or pulled back, and just it's so cool, the different effects and looks and the dress, and it's just this cohesive amazingness.
So is there any particular advice that you would give a bride or a planner to choose the right makeup artist? Now, again, I understand that a lot of your business is referral business, so I get that. But let's just say that a bride or in some strange position, a planner, maybe they go to a new city, whatever. They don't have anyone in particular. Is there any advice for them how did they figure out who is the right person?
That's a great question. Yeah. We're in LA.
Yeah.
There's a lot of talent in LA.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of talent. But I would say at least half of the person you want to hire, half of the thing you want to consider is personality.
I was just thinking that, especially talking with you. Yes.
A dear friend of mine, he was a photographer, Michael Brannigan, he used to always say to me when he tells his clients about myself and my team that you're not only getting amazing artistry and hairstyling, but you're getting someone that you'd actually want to consider a friend. And it's important because, like I had said before, where makeup can be, having your makeup done can be an intimidating experience. So if you feel really comfortable when you're speaking on the phone with the potential makeup artist you want to hire or hairstylist, or you Skype with them and just, do you feel comfortable?
So just kind of have a conversation.
Yes.
Not just the technical aspects of it, but also kind of just have a conversation.
Yeah. So first, of course, you'd want to make sure you like their work because, you know what I mean? If something's very, very dramatic, over the top, glamorous, severe contours and highlights and that's not your style, well, don't even, they might be a great, nice person, but that's not your style. So first and foremost, making sure you like the work, and then, choosing, don't make yourself crazy, but maybe choosing 3 people that you want to speak with and see how you feel. And if the conversation flows and easy, that's a dead giveaway that'll be perfect on your special day.
Yeah, and I was going to say, let's go back to that too. In particular, weddings, again, the vulnerability of it and all of that. It's like who you surround yourself with on that day.
Yeah.
Big part of it.
Huge. Huge.
I also want to ask about some stuff about hair. So there's a quote that you had said once. You said, as for hair, it's all about hair accessories. Let's see, something good to keep in mind when choosing your hair accessories, that you want to create a cohesive look with your hairstyle, makeup application, jewelry, and wedding gown.
Well, because you're creating a look. It's something where if your dress that you're wearing, very busy, there's a lot going on, then you don't want your hair to be very busy because when someone looks at you, right, you don't want them to be like, gosh, where do I look first? There's so much going on. You want someone to look at you and say, wow.
Oh, good point. Yeah.
You look stunning. You look stunning versus so much going on. So if you're wearing a simple dress, when I say simple, I mean, it could be like, a big dress, but not lots of beading and lace and super intricate. Then the hair can be a little more, textured and styled. So you are creating a cohesive look. It's the same thing as if you were going to like the Oscars, it's that same thing where you want someone to look and go, wow, you look stunning. Not right off the bat, wow, you have all these diamonds in your hair and diamonds on your dress and diamonds on your shoes.
It's more of a subtle but powerful kind of effect.
Exactly. That's exactly right. You're making a statement.
Now, and you mentioned just the Oscars, and I know you've done so much different kind of work. How much does environment have in terms of hair and makeup? I mean, you're thinking... maybe it's an obvious, but Oscars is different from TV, is different from a wedding. And then what if you're outside? What if you're inside? And
those are all factors that you take in. I mean, go from the inside to outside. And especially, we're in California, right?
I mean, weather issues too. What about humidity, dryness?
So I've done wedding. I did a wedding in Belize. I did a wedding in Fiji. And both of those places, 80 to 90% humidity. There's different things that you have to take consideration always. That's why we get as much information as possible to have an idea so we can plan ahead and be strategic. So, but any real good makeup artist who's aware, nothing's cookie cutter. So depending on the person's skin, right, that's a huge piece. That's a huge piece. So, how you prime the skin, how you blend the makeup, the products that you use, we pretty much always use anything on the eyes is waterproof. Priming, liner, mascara, because, whether it's humidity or a tear, it has to last. But how we set the makeup, but climate definitely has a lot to do with it. And like I said, everything we do for makeup therapy as a company, everything we do has to last hours and hours and hours. Truly, unless it's a photo shoot, because we're there, and we're changing things up. Or even a client doing like a TV appearance, we're there. But otherwise, everything has to last hours and hours and hours. So keeping that in mind, climate has a lot to do with it.
And Tara, how has makeup style changed, and where do you think it's going? Because you've been doing this, I think you started 20 years ago, but your own business 10 years ago. In this industry, in makeup and hair, what have you seen?
The biggest thing I've seen, I think I kind of mentioned earlier, but not in this context, is people embracing their own unique style more and more. Where makeup and hair, people had the updo with tendrils, and they wore it a certain bridal way. Whereas
based on whatever fads and all of that stuff, and
But it was almost a little more cookie cutter. I feel like people felt like they needed to wear that certain shade of pink lipstick. And, you know, there's a bridal look in the sense of the way I look at bridal look, it should be clean, fresh, and modern. Those are the adjectives that really stand out to me. Then it could have a bit of that vintage. It's just then you're playing a tweak. So you could do a little vintage with the black wing liner or putting in the red lip. But it's pretty. It could be pretty. It could be edgy. But at the end of the day, you always want it to be pretty. I feel like more and more people wearing their hair down more than they ever have. Which is amazing because for years and years and years, nobody really ever wore their hair down. And some women feel they're prettiest when they have their hair down. So, they feel they're supposed to wear it up.
Got it.
We still deal with that today, but it's less. More and more people are like, this is how I want it. This is how I'm going to do it. And, they're just more embracing their own style.
Yeah, I would say that there really is, in a sense, a trend. I mean, it's always been a certain amount of customization, but I would say that there's a trend right now, absolutely, which is really complete customization. You can do whatever you want,
Yes.
as long as
Because makeup, I mean, we really try to express to our clients with makeup, with hair, it's such a personal thing. And I feel like I keep repeating this bit about them feeling comfortable. That's the name of the game. And I can't stress the significance of having great makeup and great hair on your wedding day. That's something that my hope is more and more planners, photographers, or even more planners are making sure the clients have it in their budget to really have good hair and makeup, because I hear complaints from photographers often that the brides just weren't happy because that was the one place that they didn't spend the money enough on.
Yeah.
They didn't really spend enough. And you could have the greatest dress and you could have the greatest flowers but if you don't like how you look in your photos, I mean, everybody takes selfies, right? They might take 50 selfies to get that one money shot. But if you don't like how your makeup and hair, your face, if you don't match your body, or you're shiny, or your hair's really frizzy, or it looks, it looks super, just not you. You'll hate the brides hate their wedding photos, or they hate how they look. And then it gives the photographers more work because they have to do a lot of photoshopping. So it's like, if your makeup and hair are on point, you'll love your photos.
What are some of your current favorite makeup products? Just absolute go-to.
Bobbi Brown foundation sticks have been kind of my go-to for since I've been a makeup artist. The texture's amazing. They photograph well. They wear well. So I would say Bobbi Brown's foundation sticks. I am actually, there's certain brands I feel like I'm even drawn more. Lise Wattier is a Canadian brand. They make brilliant eyeliners and lip liners that glide on. They stay on. They're beautiful. Laura Mercier. I mean, some of the things I'm saying have been around a long time, but they're the tried and true. I try every brand out there. I take clients shopping. I call it buddy shopping, but I take clients shopping because a lot of our brides...
that's got to be a blast for them.
Oh, it's so cool.
Yeah,
because
God.
A lot of our brides or a lot of our clients are doing special events. They're like, great. So we feel beautiful when you and your team take care of us. But then what happens the other days? So we try to take them shopping and get them the right products and brushes. But with that said, so I'm always in store... seeking out and learning about all the new stuff that comes out. But I would also say, Tom Ford eyeshadows are amazing. His lipsticks are amazing. Charlotte Tilbury, she has amazing eyeshadows that I'm just loving right now. Bobbi Brown's bronzers. I could go on and on.
Okay, I'm sure.
I love it.
And before I wrap up, just a couple more questions.
Sure.
In terms of women applying makeup just for themselves, not necessarily, we're not talking about an event, just on their own. Do you have any really top tips for people, the absolute top tips for them to consider in terms of applying for themselves?
I would say the number one thing is having the right tools, having good tools.
So invest.
Your brushes.
So invest. That's something to invest in.
1,000%. That's because you could have the greatest products, but if you don't have the right tools to apply, forget about it. It's not going to work. And don't use your fingers to apply. Once it's on, you can use your fingers to blend if you want a little bit. But yeah, using great brushes. Skincare. Skincare is huge. How you prime your face is everything. If you don't prime it in the right way, again, you could have a really great product, but it might sit and make your skin look, face look cakey if the foundation is right, if the skin isn't primed right, or things just won't wear well, or they'll crease. They just, so skincare is huge. I would say those are the top 2. And don't skimp on skincare. Don't skimp on face product. You can play around with different brands for lipsticks, for sure. But, and, you know, blushes, even shadows, make sure it has a good pigment, because pigment is what helps products, especially in the eyes, to last. Try not to get bronzer that has a lot of shimmer in it. It's not good for anybody. Shimmer brings out imperfections, so, and it doesn't look natural. And bronzer no one should know you have bronzer on.
Yeah.
You should look healthy with your bronzer.
That makes sense, even though I don't understand half of this personally. That makes sense to me. I know. No, but this is great. You're giving great information.
Thank you.
And finally, Tara, so, you know, I mean, I've learned so much in this, and I know listeners will too. If you were giving a masterclass, let's say, with already, you know, pretty experienced makeup artists who want to go to the next level, you know, what would you focus on? What is for professionals? Like we just talked about people on their own. We've talked about the importance of the relationship, you know, so many different things. A masterclass, the top tips. I would say always, these are, because I'll tell you, like, these are our focus. These are the things we focus on for makeup therapy, is always creating a great experience for your client in the chair. I love how that's the first thing you're saying.
Because it's not about us.
Yep.
It's about the client in the chair. And when you create a great experience for them, that's everything. Our clients I say clients versus customers, because our clients, like, we'll hear from them 8 years later because they're going to a party. Like, they're repeat. Our clients are so loyal to us. It's pretty incredible. And it feels like a family. And that's how my team is. We're like a family. Most of my team have been with me 5 years plus. So it's like, it's amazing. Cause again, it's like the energy. So I would say, you know, when someone is a makeup artist, hairstylist, and they're, you know, wanting to create a business, and they're, you know, is that what you're asking? More of, like,
exactly.
Kind of wanting to do. It's always making sure you create experience for your client. And, you know, having a relationship with them is really the number one thing. I think sometimes as creatives, we're on to the newest, the latest, the greatest, which is great.
There's a pressure for that.
Which is great. And you need to be knowledgeable. You need to be on top of your game and knowing product and knowing technique. But you also don't just get caught up in that excitement and that hype, because the individual in your chair, it's about them. It's about knowing what to put on them specifically, not because it's just trend. It's because it's what's best for their features. You know, you really have to take consideration the hair color, the skin tone, their age, their ethnicity, all of those kinds of things, because makeup is makeup and hair. It's not cookie cutter. And you have to embrace someone's needs, wants, lifestyle when it comes to creating a look for them.
So what is the best way to learn more about you and reach you?
I would say through our Instagram handles at Makeup Therapy. That's probably the number one, because that gets updated so much, you know, more consistently. We need to get better on it. Not going to lie. You know, we're so present. We have a lot of images we need to collect, but at least I feel like you can really get a good sense of what we're about and our aesthetic.
Wonderful.
So, I would say through Instagram, and then, you know, contacting our studio manager.
Great. Well, this has been such a pleasure. Tara, I've really enjoyed talking with you. So thank you so much.
Thank you. This has been wonderful. Thank you for taking the time with me.
Well, thank you for listening, and be sure to check out the show notes for Tara's episode on our website at theweddingbiz.com. There's so much more information there. And following this episode is The Next Level, in which my co-host and I discuss some of the main points of Tara's interview so that you can take your business to the next level. And please be sure to share these episodes with your friends and colleagues to help us build our community. And if you enjoyed it, we would love if you could leave a review where you get your podcast from. That's very helpful for the show. And next week, Melissa and I are going to be at the Engage Summit in Banff. And so we will be re-releasing my interview with Edwin McCain, the singer-songwriter who had 2 major hit songs that became and still are huge at weddings, plus a 3rd song that is really big for ceremonies. And that episode is a departure from the usual, and it is so much fun to listen to. It was one of the most popular episodes episodes about a year ago. So be sure to tune in next week for Edwin's conversation. And then we will be back with a new episode when we return. And coming soon are my interviews of Mindy Weiss and Mark Held of Mark's Garden and so many others. So again, everyone, thank you so much for listening.